going to go live right now. Okay. Are we live? I think we're live. Let me check the live streaming. It says preview. We're live. Hey, what's going on, guys? I got something really cool to announce today. The French finally got something right. I went to Costco, and this is $4. These are pre-made, pre-cooked mini pancakes. They are absolutely fantastic. You don't even have to waste time getting out the frying pan anymore. You just take them right out of the package, and they just heat them up. These are freaking amazing. So at least the French can do something right. Mini pancakes, pre-packaged, pre-cooked. These are awesome. I don't even know what the expiration date is, but I don't care. So we're going to eat some pancakes this morning. We're going to talk about some large pistols, large revolvers. We're going to share some recommendations, pros and cons, and all that fun stuff. All of us here on the panel are enjoying our breakfast this morning, so you're just going to have to bear with us. Sounds like everybody had a rough night last night, didn't we? Man, people were talking about staying up late. Squib, what happened last night? What was the big event?
Oh, no, we talked about the events going on and yeah, the whole ATF honey badger thing and a bunch of other stuff. It's just, the show always runs late and we love the fact that the audience stays up with us. But yeah, there's only a few hours between his show and your show and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying we should change anything. I'm saying that I need coffee. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I need a lot of coffee.
So I wonder, does the ATF do they make you register, or do they monitor like if you have a real honey badger? Because if you let that thing go in the public, I mean, it's going to do way more damage than the gun ever would. You let a honey badger go like in Walmart on a Sunday, can you imagine the chaos that would cause?
It's not a NFA item.
It's not yet.
So.
Watch it. They'll classify real honey badgers as NFA items, and you're going to have to get a tax stamp on them.
Well, there were a few different factors involved. One of which is that the company that makes a honey badger didn't follow the rules, and I know that ticks off some people.
Yeah.
But for those out there who don't know, if you make a gun, you don't submit the frame, the lower, you submit the whole gun the way it is when you sell it, exactly how you sell it. They've been so strict that if you sell something in a different color, they'll throw a fit.
Was it linked to poll in the end? Is that what it really came down to? They were able to measure.
No, it was missing a component from what I can tell.
Oh,
they sent it to them, and this has happened before with other manufacturers where they've sent the prototype, and the prototype wasn't the final model, or they sent it without this or that, or they sent one in, and then later they changed it, and they're supposed to send it in, and they go, well, we sent the original, and we're good, and that's just it. So that. I mean, that's not the entire. That's not the whole factor behind it. There's more behind the scenes, but dealing with the ATF, no matter who you are, is a royal pain. It's one of the reasons why I never started up an FFL. That's how I ended up on YouTube. I was researching how to start up my own FFL, and when I found out how much paperwork you got to do with the ATF, I don't want to deal with that.
The ATF is missing one crucial component too: their brains. So, I think that we could argue a case that they shouldn't even function without a license.
Well, I'm not arguing that we need an ATF per se, but I'm just saying we have it. So, the thing is, some of the people that have been, that had an FFL, whatever type, manufacturer, distributor, what have you, some of the ones that have been doing it for a long time, they know what to do. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if this was just, somebody at the company dropped the ball. That I don't have enough information on it, but we had an interesting conversation.
So there's been a stay issued on the honey badger, right? Is that what it is? There's no
and some of that seems to be politically motivated. My theory is the call came down from the top, but in the end, I think as long as these guys fix their paperwork, I think they stand a chance of handling this. I mean, this is just like having the fire marshal come through and cite you for a violation and give you 90 days to correct it, and he comes back in 91 days and you haven't corrected it.
And it's good that I think that the gun media is informing the public on that, but I saw, and I simply was posing some questions, but I saw a lot of videos where it's like the end of the SBA 3 and the ATF is coming for your pistol. It's the crap that people pull off, the clickbait they pull off to get viewers. It's just,
it works.
It
works.
It does. It's the same kind of shock media that like the news uses to get your attention too,
So if you're the big channel, that's what your audience wants. They tune in for that. If you're the small channel trying to be the big channel, just do that. And hopefully you get the views and you'll blow up.
Yeah,
and it's kind of sucks because we complain about the fake news, we complain about the bias in the media, we complain about so many things. How Hollywood and everything else shows stuff that it's entertainment, but people believe that's real, and then they use it against us. But then when we do it from within, what does that say?
Defense said we had that chat a little while ago about some of the gun tubers can become some of the biggest prima donnas on the planet. It's really sad. All right, so anyway, let's go ahead and let the panel introduce themselves. Let's get into the topic of full-size handguns. We're going to see what's out there for sale. Why should you consider going with a full-size handgun? And I put over in the chat on the YouTube side, it's really, there is, from what I've seen from most websites, they consider a full-size to be a barrel that's 4.5 inches on up, a full-size, full frame. But a lot of guns are marketed as large pistols or large handguns, large revolvers. They might only have a 4-inch barrel. And there's so many different types of frame sizes in between that we're just going to go with 4 inches and longer for a barrel length, and we'll just consider that a large handgun, because you can get some fairly chunky large pistols and even revolvers with a 4-inch barrel. So, Defense Dad, let's go ahead and let you give us your little introduction. Why don't you get your plug in this morning?
Hi, I'm Defense Dad. I'm a gunaholic.
Yeah,
I like long walks on the gun range.
Oh yeah.
Good morning, man.
And you got the art of the pancake. I think we should do a tabletop review. Your pancakes versus my French assembly line Costco special pre-made. Look at that. The number one ingredient's cream and then flour. Okay, so I think we need to do a head-to-head. We need to do a budget versus beauty on pancakes. That's what we need to do.
Mine are gone.
We just got to make some more, and I'll be over and I'll bring the French pancakes with me, and we'll do a little head-to-head You might be surprised; these things taste exactly like whatever I make that comes right out of the frying pan. So, man, all right. So, what do you got coming up on the channel? Give us a little teaser here.
I got to turn my camera on. I haven't made a video in a month, so
okay. Are you going to be willing to talk about your latest purchase, or are you going to hold off on that today? Because that was kind of one of the reasons why, I'm glad you're here, but I didn't know if you wanted to mention it or not.
Oh yeah, I can talk about it.
Okay. So because that's going to kind of fall into that category of the topic for today. So
yep.
Cool. So guys, make sure you get over there, subscribe to Defense Dad. He's got a sweet channel. The editing is top notch. The videos are fun to watch. The topics are great. You really can't go wrong. Let's get over there and get him some subscribers. And joining us, the boy from down south, AWAG. AWAG, how's it going? Are you using y'all now when you talk?
Not yet. I have been called out a couple times down here. And you don't sound like you're from around here. I was like,
no, you sound like every person from Florida. Everybody's from Jersey down in Florida. I mean, seriously, you got to go a little bit further down south, and I think you'll find your home territory again. So how's life treating you, man? How's everything going?
It's going pretty good. Everything's like really inexpensive here down here. Like,
oh God, yes. Oh yeah. Nebraska's like that too. Yeah. Car insurance, property for the most part, gas, utilities. We don't tax the heck out of you like every state on the East Coast. How are you enjoying your new taste of freedom? Have you been celebrating by making any great purchases, or are you putting the flash suppressor back on and putting the regular?
Actually, yes. I put a flash suppressor, JP Enterprises flash hider on my SIG 556, and I managed to pick up a couple Lancer L5s in various colors.
Okay.
And I took the pin out of the stock, so now I can fold the stock.
Can you resell your pinned mags from that you had before? You should put those up on Gunbroker and sell them to hungry, desperate people out on the East Coast, like in New Jersey, that need a pinned magazine.
I mean, all the magazines that I had that were pinned, I either unpinned them a couple days ago, or before I left, I handed them out to a couple of my close friends. So
okay, that's cool. It's cool. It's good to take off that chastity belt once in a while,
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Channel content. Are you going to start to fire up the channel a little bit? You going to bring us some videos and stuff, or are you just kind of busy working on your own thing right now, and then you go from there?
As of right now, I did put a new video up of a camping trip that I went on. That was pretty fun. Not a lot of like super gun content. There's a little bit on there. My buddy mounted his NSPU scope on his AK-74 that I fixed for him.
Oh, cool.
And he was making hits at like 100 yards with that thing. It's pretty cool.
Was he using a RS Regulate mount?
No, it's the NSPU is its own complete standalone thing. Yep.
Okay,
it's like this massive night vision scope.
Oh, okay. Sweet,
man. It's quite comical, actually.
All right. Well, hey, welcome to the other half of people that get to enjoy their freedom. So there you go. It's been way too long.
Best decision I ever made.
Right on, man. Heck yeah. If you're going to find people who are going to be very friendly, people are pretty cool. You know, I think you're going to like it once you kind of get out of that little world that you were stuck in and get some sunshine. So there you go. All right. And last but not least, joining us on the panel, we got the Squib. We got the Squib Meister. Dude, you're cranking out videos left and right, man. I can't even keep up with you anymore. How's everything going right now?
Don't watch all of them. There's nobody, it's not,
Well, it's been fun watching the evolution of your taste buds as you do your coffee reviews. We're not going to start talking about coffee, but it is cool watching how you've kind of gone out there and you're being a little more adventurous with your purchases and your taste tests and stuff like that.
Yeah. There's even going to be a shocking other hot beverage review coming.
All right. Shocking hybrid. And I was going to tell you, we talked about this before. I did some research, and we had the distilled water talk. Baristas highly advise against using distilled water because it creates a natural bitter flavoring for your coffee. So you might have to go back and redo all those videos that you did with distilled water. You might have to go back.
Here's the thing about distilled water. When I lived on a ship, the water was distilled. This is distilled ocean water, right? The best tasting water I've ever had in my life.
How was the coffee?
We had government issue coffee. What do you think?
That's no excuse. If you made it with purified water, it would have been fantastic.
The thing is, though, I ended up switching over to purified water, just like rinsing the filter only for the reviews. I don't rinse the filter for daily stuff, just for the consistency in the reviews and stuff like that. I'm even measuring the coffee.
You need to. It's a science. Right. It's a science. You wouldn't just put 17 quarts of oil in your motor and expect it just to run right. You got to measure out the oil. It's All
right, people, just be warned. If you make friends with this man, he's going to redirect your life where you start doing things you never did before. Those things might be good, but it's just.
That's right.
I'm measuring my coffee. What is wrong with me?
I just have to interject real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
While I wholeheartedly respect his opinion, at the bottom level of my heart, I disagree with Squib's outlook on hot dogs. Just got to say that.
We're going to save that for another chat. That's opening up a whole other. We need to talk about big guns. Not hot dog sandwiches and hot dog and this and that. I mean, like I said, guys, we spent 3 years of our life debating whether or not a hot dog is a sandwich or not, or any variation of the hot dog chats. I think we need to let it go. I think we need to just be friends.
No way. I'll be at the hot dog rally next year.
Oh my God. Anyway, so all right, guys, we need to get started with the chat. Let's just see who's joining us over on the YouTube side. And a quick reminder that today's episode is brought to us by SS Pawn of Lexington, Nebraska. Take the Interstate 80 exit, go into Lexington, Nebraska. SS Pawn is just off to the right. Big sign that says Pawn Shop. Stop in there, say hello to Stan, and SS Pawn will take care of your firearms needs. So who's joining us on the YouTube side? Who's out there this morning? We got a little Misha N out there. We got some New York Outcast. By the way, if you're new to the podcast, we usually spend 15 or 20 minutes not talking about the main topic. That's normal. We're just giving you a primer, okay? What else we got there? Patriot in the Dark's out there. We got a little Black Bear Forge going on. AWAG 1000's over there. Over here, Scott P79 is in the house. JH586 is out there too. Scott P79 rolling trip, tacos and french fries, always with us. Net Flutterer is out there. Mike Squiblift in the house. Who else we got? Billy the cab driver, Ozzy Orsborn, and Tennessee Gun Guy says first. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. So, all right. So when it comes to large pistols, and if you're somebody who's out there looking for something and you don't know what to go with, you've got a lot of options out there. There are some brands that I don't have a lot of familiarity with. Hey, look, it's my nephew Foos. Foos, what's going on? How's it going, man? What are you up to these days?
I'm about to go to the DMV.
Oh, on a Saturday?
Yeah, they're open till I think like 8:30 to noon.
Oh, I forgot. You're in the Midwest now. We actually care about people. That's right. Yes, yes. Isn't that awesome?
I'm in Missouri now.
You are in Missouri. You're not I think you're only about 4 hours away from me. So that's pretty cool, man. We need to get together and do some shooting.
Yeah. I'm on the eastern side of Kansas City.
Cool. Yeah, I'm only 3 hours away. And actually, we'll be going there in the spring. So I might have to give you a holler. We can meet up and do some lunch or dinner or something.
Yeah.
Cool,
if you and your wife need a place to stay, give me a holler.
All right, man. Cool. So what have you been up to these days? Are you going to get back into shooting here, or are you kind of taking some time off? Is your season done?
Yeah, my season is done. I mean, Nationals is going on right now. But my season has been done pretty much for about a month and a half, 2 months already.
Okay.
I'm going to get back into dry firing and practice at the beginning of November. And then train pretty hard November, December. Take a break off between Christmas and New Year's.
Okay.
And continue to train pretty hard. January to probably middle of February, take another week off, and then dry fire again for another month or two, then take another week or two off, just so I don't totally get burnt out. Beginning of next month, I'll be a member to a range that has an indoor facility, so that's good.
Cool. Yeah, we got one up here that's well, most of them are, but up here we've got one that's got full climate control. It's just fantastic. It's in the winter, summertime it's nice and cool. In the wintertime it's nice and warm. There's no wind to deal with, no insects. I mean, it's awesome. Okay, so I want to start with you, Squib. What's up?
24/7, 365 access.
Oh wow. Oh, that would be sweet, man. That would be sweet. All right, so I want to start off with you. You are a competitive shooter. What are some of your recommendations for full-size handguns, and why would a person want to go with that handgun? What are the qualities you think that handgun has to offer? Because I'm not a CZ guy. I love CZs. I don't own any. But what are your recommendations? What's that?
What's the use?
Let's just say somebody wants just an all-around home defense, range gun, something they can learn to shoot on, or just somebody's looking for a good full-size pistol to have with them, whether they're going to holster it outside the waistband or they're going to travel with it. What do you recommend? Should you go polymer metal? Should you go all metal? What do you think?
Just because ease of use and everything, and learning the firearms, go with any name brand striker fired gun. I would say, either whether it be Canik, Springfield, Glock, XD, or that is Springfield,
Smith and Wesson.
Easy, Smith, any of those. Taurus, some of them.
Yeah, the G3s are starting to prove themselves as being fairly good. G2C, well, those are compacts, but G3s, yeah.
HKs, any of those brands that have been around a while.
So, I mean, obviously the first piece of advice is you want to go to the range and you want to rent some stuff. You want to test a few of them because we talked about this before. Rent them before you just go ahead. And if you watch a lot of videos and reviews and you really think you're going to like it, at least handle the firearm in the store before you take it home, because there might be some qualities about the grip that you don't like. There might be some aesthetics or ergonomics that you find uncomfortable. And if it's going to be so much of an annoyance that you don't want to shoot it, obviously you don't want to spend the money on it. But for you, what would be what do you prefer to shoot? What's kind of your preference for a full size? Give me a specific model.
My full sizes, of course, mine's very skewed towards
competition.
So 9mm would be Shadow 2.
CZ.
40, CZ Shadow 2. 40 is CZ Tech Sport, but that is a big gun. Both of them are big, heavy guns. But the carry one, I carry a 365. SIG P365.
365 XL.
Yes.
Yep. XL. Okay. What is the difference between the SIG with the orange grips and the SIG, or not the SIG? I'm sorry, the CZ with the orange grips and the CZ with the blue grips. I see them in the case. They're $1,200. What do these things have to offer?
So the one with the blue grips or the FDE one with the black grips, they're about $1,200. They're all machine fit. When you get to the oranges, the sears are hand fit, so it's a lighter trigger. Your slide to frame will be better because those are hand fit. Your barrel lockup is hand fit. So the oranges are basically hand fit together.
Okay.
Is it more accurate? Slightly, but 99.9% of guns is going to be more accurate than the person shooting.
Oh, yeah, I agree. So what about like decocker models? They're single action, double action. Is there like a decocker option for them, or is there just like a safety option that you get when you buy one of those two, or are those just simply as is? Or
so, but both of those that I said are safeties only because they are towards competition.
Okay.
If you are looking for a CZ that has a decocker, I would actually go with the P09, P07.
Okay.
They're the polymer ones.
Yeah.
Or the ones with the Omega trigger. Because the decocker on there, you have to push forward in order to, like, the decocker is a little bit further forward, and you have to push forward and down to be able to activate it.
Mm-hmm.
The BDs, the P07 or P01s that have the decocker that go back. I had one of those, and about one time, and just how I shoot, this is a training issue. But for me, whenever I would shoot about one time a magazine, my thumb would actuate the decocker, and I'd come with a dead trigger.
Okay.
I'd
back up.
I'd be sitting there riding the reset while I hit the decocker. All of a sudden, I have to let my finger all the way out to pick up the trigger again. So
that's going to cost you a second in time too. So I mean, just across the board. So you would say that, yeah.
That the time I'm not worried about. It's the shit. Like the first time it happened, I thought I broke my gun, and then I was like, "What the heck?" And I was out practicing concealed carry stuff. That's where it would get me. Especially if people don't shoot their concealed carries enough. So if you shoot if you shoot standard 75 BD and then you go to a PO1 or something for carry, that's different because you're used to it. I'm used to having my thumb close to the frame while I was actuating the decocker.
Yeah.
So that's a training thing on my end.
Now, one of the great things about the full size pistols, I mean, obviously you can do a +1 or +2 base plate expander for your magazine, but I mean, I know some of the CZs you can get one. It's like an SP something or another that's got a 21 round capacity to it. SP09 or something, or SP?
No, that's the P09. That's the polymer frame.
Okay.
That's the polymer frame, yeah.
And so definitely one of the advantages of the full size is going to be capacity. If you're concerned about capacity, especially if you're going from a compact to a full size, you don't feel like 6 or 8 or 10 rounds is adequate. You can definitely up past 17 and really get out there with some of these CZs.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, man.
The downside of the polymer ones is the grip is the grip.
Foos, you're breaking up, buddy.
But you're not going to be able to
All right. Hey, Foos, I think you're switching from your network to your data connection, so you're breaking up pretty hard right now. Let's wait till you switch over to cell, and then we'll get you back. Okay. AWAG, so why don't you go ahead and work with us here? What are some of the full-size pistols that you've looked into, or some of the recommendations that you might have? What have been some models that have worked really well for you?
As of right now, I have a 6-hour P226 that I've had for, since I was 21, so about 4 years. And since then, I've put about 8,000 rounds through this pistol. And so far, it's been working just fine. I have to replace the recoil spring soon because it's getting a little weak. 6-hour recommends you replace their springs every 5,000 rounds.
Okay.
I've not had a single malfunction that wasn't induced by me.
What was your model again? A 226, or what'd you say?
Yep, it was a 226.
Okay, 226. Okay.
And this is the 357 SIG.
Okay.
Let's see. I had a Glock 19 that I built off of a Polymer 80 100% frame. I mean, I put about 1,000 rounds through that. I really haven't got around to actually like testing it like competition wise. I mean, it runs good. I haven't had any malfunctions with it after I got it broken in because with Polymer 80s, when they're built, they have some variances and tolerances.
Oh yeah, because it's especially if you're doing it yourself, there's could be a lot more, especially at the frame, the fitting and everything. Yeah.
And right now, I'm sourcing parts for a Polymer 80 Glock 20 in 10 millimeter.
Ooh. Oh, nice. So what frame, is there a particular frame for that, or is that able to share the frame with other models in the Polymer 80?
The 10 millimeter one.
Polymer 80s before, but I didn't look into the frames, actual sizes, but yeah.
The Polymer 80, the 10 millimeter one, shares the frame size of the 45 or the Glock 21. Every part that uses for
all
the
of those
Glock,
do.
Yeah.
All the Glocks do. It's either large frame or small frame.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I found out about like sort of Glock's modularity and with the small frames and large frames, because I was looking around and I was handling a couple of them at a gun show a while back, and I was like, wait a minute, these are the same thing, because I picked up a large frame Polymer 80, and then there was a couple tables down that had the Glock G40, which is the competition model of the Glock 20, and I'm like, wait a minute. These are practically the same thing.
Something that I think that would be cool with the Glock with the Polymer 80 stuff is if they would have the top end be all Glock, but change the grip angle to another magazine.
That would be pretty cool. I do know that they changed their grip angle to a 1911 style grip angle, so it's a little more comfortable.
Okay, so that's Polymer, but in order to do that, you're having to make that grip bigger. It's because you're going to have to change the angles of everything in that grip. So you can make that grip smaller if you swap to a different magazine.
Be kind of cool if they start offering like single stack options and things like that.
Yeah.
No, like put a SIG magazine, Polymer 80 Glock top with a SIG lower, or like a SIG magazine, or have it with a CZ magazine or a Beretta magazine or something like that, to where if you want a Polymer 80, you want the top end of a Glock, but you have a bunch of CZs, or you have a bunch of this or that.
Yeah, that would
I
be
think that would
pretty
be
cool.
really.
And I find it funny that do you guys watch like Grand Thumb at all?
I've seen some of his videos, but nothing recently.
A while back, he had a video with another guy. I think he's like Milspec Mojo or something like that. He runs a Glock, and he steals a P320 magazine from Grand Thumb and puts it in the Glock, and it runs just fine. He had to hold the magazine in though, but it ran like the whole magazine.
So I mean, really, if the Polymer 80 company would just make a few minor modifications, that would be cool if they could expand it over to SIG owners. People that have a lot of SIG mags sitting around, or if you just want whatever. I mean, that would be cool if they offer that option. I didn't think about that too. Somebody who's in the market for a full-sized pistol, maybe consider going with a Polymer 80 build. That's always an option too. You can buy them pre-built also as registered firearms for around $600. But yeah.
The cool thing with Polymer 80, this may be a little advanced for brand new shooters, but you learn your firearm. Like how many people buy a Glock and only field strip it? They never take the trigger out of it. Like that is one thing that back whenever I put together a couple AKs, actual rivet and all that crap, and as well as competition with CZs, pull them down to each individual parts a couple times a year. You learn your firearm. You learn, what does what, why this, then you start learning all the safeties and everything like that inside of it.
Well, it offers options. You can upgrade the springs if you want to. You can swap out certain parts. You can make it run better for you. You get a lot of trigger options and stuff like that. So,
on that note, they do make, it's not Glock top, but they do make their own grip modules for the SIG P320. Since you're talking about SIGs,
oh, okay,
yes,
all right,
I didn't know that, but that's a grip module. It's still, holy crap.
You okay?
I think everyone is out here like me on a Saturday morning.
Breakfast run.
No. Hold on. How do I swap this?
Did you just hit the traffic or what? Everybody's going to the mall?
Yeah, you probably saw the line up front.
Going to the gun store? They found out there was 9mm Cabela's?
How do I swap the camera?
Usually it's a little camera icon with little circle arrows going on.
Yeah,
we got to see
down at the bottom.
Man, Foos here.
Down at the bottom, a little menu should pop up, and you hit other options, and then the second menu says toggle camera, I think.
Yep. Thank you.
So what are we looking at here? What's going on? Oh my God!
Here's license office. License office. Okay.
Wow. Well, we are getting close, kind of, sort of close to the end of the month. There's a lot of people. Oh boy. Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what? For the longest time, if it was anything like Nebraska, they were letting the plate renewal stuff just go. You didn't have to go do it because they had the offices closed or they weren't accepting any renewals. So that's probably what you're running into.
Yeah. Except I got to get mine swapped because I'm changed states.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
South Carolina.
Looks like I might be taking a half day off Monday.
There you go.
I'm not standing out there.
South Carolina is by appointment only.
Jeez,
all right,
but I have everything. Crap. Screw it.
It's all right, man.
Shorts.
It's all right, man.
Sorry.
There you go. No, it's all good.
I'd say never go on a Saturday because that's the day everybody has off, so that's the day they go. But I mean, you can get a driver's license renewed in your state on a Saturday. Wow.
Yeah, Nebraska. I don't know if Nebraska does that or not, but they've got really good hours. Like they got extended hours.
I think they're open like 4 days a week.
Oh no, it's at least 8
it's
or 8
open
to 5
till
here.
It's open till noon here, and yeah, I'll just take it.
So here's what we're gonna do, Foos. Next Saturday, I'll give you a wake up call, like at 5:30 when I get up, and then you can just throw some sweats on and a hoodie and go up there at 6, and you'll be the first person up there. Maybe they got doorbusters. Maybe they're giving away like a free box of 9 for the first 50 customers.
So I got a question for the guys on the panel.
Yeah, go ahead,
man. My buddy came to me last night, and he's like, "Hey, I don't know how much you know about the 1911 platform, but I want to look for a 1911." And I told him, I was just like, "Well, if you're going to get a 1911, get a nice one, but don't try to get like." He wants one of the the GI models, something that looks like something that would be used. Like in
I had a Rock Island, and it was fine. It's nothing spectacular, and the sights are just iron sights like you'd expect, but it's perfectly functional.
So if he wants the GI model, Rock Island will be good.
Mm-hmm.
Springfield has a model for that. The GI model, I had one of those. It's perfectly functional.
Taurus has some basic ones you can get too that run like 450 or 500.
Yeah, I mean,
with the GI model, you're not going to be able to upgrade it very well. The rear sight cut is different. A lot of them don't have a front sight cut in it at all, so it's
just machined into the slide.
Front sight you have is just a plain metal one. Yeah, just a plain metal one. That's what you have.
And here's the thing, like when I was looking for 1911, I thought about going that route for like an extra $50 or $75. You can get a model that's going to have skeletonized hammer and trigger, removable adjustable sights, probably a better finish, better grips. I mean, once you go to like the $450, $500 price point, you're getting just a whole nother class up on 1911. So anybody that's out looking for 1911, you can get into some of these entry level models like the Hearson and the TSOS and the Rock Islands for $400, but just go $100 more and get it. It's just going to be much more enjoyable if you've got at least at a minimum 3-dot sights or a fiber front sight or even removable sights. I mean, that's, but then you also want to make sure before you buy that pistol, and this is always a good idea for anybody looking at the firearms, see what aftermarket sight options are out there. Because you might be buying into a platform that has limited sight options for you, and you might not like the sights that come on the gun.
And like for 1911s and a lot of your stuff, figure out what the sight is cut for. Is it a Novak? Is it is an LPA rear sight? What is it cut for?
Yeah.
Because then you just go out and get whatever. If it says, accessible Glock sights, you're good on your rears. But then your front, it's different. You have to figure out just what the cut is. And sometimes it'll be on the site. Sometimes you have to call the company. Say, what profile is your front and rear sights cut for?
And I'll just say this. I'll say this right now. If anybody's out there looking at the Taurus G3, great pistol, but the sights they're tiny dots and they're dim and they're very low. And so I'm not a big fan of those sights, but I think you can swap out the rear. There's a lot of aftermarket sights out there for the Taurus G series guns. There's tons of companies making them, but it does accept, I believe, Glock rear sights, and so does the G3C. Now the fronts, you're gonna have to go with whatever's out there, but you could go. I mean, the sights are just not. They're fine, but they're just not easy to use. That's the one thing that Taurus just didn't seem to get right on that pistol when they made it. But
they're really hard to pick up.
They are metal sights, if I'm not mistaken. They're well made, but they're just not very bright. But so defense set. Let's move on to you. What would be some of your recommendations for full size pistols?
Recommendations as for what I've owned. My first gun I really liked was if you can find a used one, the Ruger SR9.
Oh yeah. Ruger 9E SR9. Those are good options. Ruger Security 9. I would say no, not Security 9 is more of a compact, isn't it? Yeah.
So with the SR, if you had, I had one. If your hands are small, the SR series has an extremely small grip.
Kind of a narrow grip, kind of a thin grip to it. Also, it's not very chunky and rounded like a lot of other pistols. Yeah,
and it does go
side to side. It's all narrow.
Yeah, it's got a reversible back strap, so you can make it a little bit bigger. I did put some Talon grips on it to make it a little more comfortable, and the only reason I got rid of that, like I've said before, is it had some things I didn't like about it as a left-hander. So I'd still recommend that. Also, my current full size that I highly recommend is my HK VP9.
Okay.
And then I do have the new purchase you're talking about. I'm going to say it's feature packed. I haven't shot a single round through it, so I don't necessarily know I can make a recommendation. But
no, I've shot it and I've cleaned, not yours, but I've shot one and cleaned one. I've handled one, and in my opinion, maybe you'd agree with me on this. I know it's kind of jumping to conclusions here when you haven't actually fired it. Would you say it's one of the best values in a sub $375 handgun that a person can buy right now?
That's
full size model.
Is that a Canic?
No.
Is that a Canic?
Nope.
It's so I bought a Beretta APX full size, and I was looking at it last night, and like the features for between 350 and 400, you get 3 different back straps. It is fully ambidextrous,
17 rounds,
17 round magazines, metal sights that are easy to pick up.
Tenefer coating on the slide because it's made in Italy, so they use the old school Tenefer that Glock doesn't here because of the EPA rules. Remember, that gun was made for the military trials. It had an intent behind it. It's a very durable gun. What do you think of the trigger? Have you had a chance to dry fire it yet?
Yeah, I've dry fired it quite a bit. I like it, actually. I mean, until I get a few rounds through it, but like just when I played with it, I'm very impressed for the price I paid for it. It'd be hard pressed to find something in that price range to have that many features.
If you get away from classic firearms and like Atlantic Firearms and you just look around, especially mom and pop places, like we've got our local Chain Shields, you've got your local FFLs you can go through, Cabela's, they'll get them at $359 all the time. I mean, you see them popping up, and it seems like there's a slew of them out there right now, and I'm starting to see some more videos popping up on YouTube. So the Beretta APX would be my recommendation for a full size. You want something that's easy to handle, that's comfortable to shoot. The trigger's fine for what it is. It's a heavy gun. It's a big gun. It's going to be just as heavy and big as, say, a G17 or maybe like an M&P 9. But for sub $400 handgun, man, you get a nice hard case with it. Magazines are really not that hard to source for it. Magazines are proprietary, right? It doesn't share 92 magazines, right?
Yeah, it doesn't. And they're like $25. They're not bad. And I also will highly recommend the PPQ series.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, there's some definite options out there. Yeah.
All these polymer guns, none of them should be over $500 because you're looking at injection molding. You just look at the makeup of what you're getting. There's no milling, very little finish work on them. None of them should be over $500.
Well, you're paying for their advertising. You're paying for their marketing. That's why they're charging you what they charge you. I've done some research on this, and Glock, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I've looked around on this. I've been very curious. How much money does Glock actually make off every pistol once it's sold? So once they get past the labor costs, they're manufacturing. They're making like $75 per gun clear profit. And so they're making more money. They're probably making, more of a higher percentage of profit off of their Glock, off their magazines, off their merchandise. So you're paying for their marketing, basically.
No. Yeah. You read that wrong. It costs Glock $75 to make them.
Oh, I thought the cost. Yeah. I thought their profit was $75 after they get it sold.
Their cost per firearm.
Okay, I'm looking at how much they spend on advertising, how much they spend on promotions, the discounts they give for LEOs. Okay.
But you see, the discount they give law enforcement is their biggest selling point. Oh, cops use it, so I got to use it. That's why all these people are confused and they use the 40. All right. So I've said the same thing about Glock before, is that if the price was lower, I would have been more interested in getting it. There's nothing spectacular about it. For the same price, I can get a better metal gun. I'm not saying it's cheap. I'm not saying it doesn't run. I'm not saying it isn't durable. I'm not saying, and the fanboys are the thing that drive me away from Glocks the most. But the thing is, for what it is, it's way overpriced. There's no reason we all can't buy it at LEO prices, and Glock still makes a profit. So
okay, so on that note, though, if somebody looks around, you might find a nice police trade-in Glock that might have just some holster wear, but very little actual use for $400. Now, before we used to get these suckers for $300, $379. You could get some of the 40 Smith & Wesson Glocks, and M&P trade-ins at that price. Because when you look at a new one, you're looking at $550, $600. Now, I mean, it's anything goes. Especially if you go on Gunbroker, people are paying $650, $700 for a Gen 4 G17 because they can't find one anywhere. Or if they do find one, they're going to pay full retail price. So you don't have to pay that price if you don't mind going. Maybe looking into the used market a little bit, or maybe haggling a little bit at a gun show. But you're right. You're sitting there thinking, man, this is $500, but then so is this full metal, this full steel 9mm that I bought from another brand. It's also $500. What gives,
Yeah, or there's some that are less expensive than the Glock, and they're better guns in my opinion. And I've looked at the LEO trade-ins a couple times. I just never, I guess, pulled the trigger on it. But Sarge has put out a couple of videos lately about the Glock 20. And now I'm thinking, oh man, that might be the one I get. And there's no LEO Glock 20s, so I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, I had a Gen. My first one was a Gen 2 G20, and it was a little painful to shoot, but it was fun.
Yeah, I'm thinking that if I get it, I'm gonna have to pay full price because there isn't going to be a used market. Well, there might be some people that maybe don't like it after they get it, but there isn't going to be LEO trade-ins on a 10mm.
Now, one thing I will highly recommend, guys, people looking for, if you want a SIG and the $999 price scares you away on a P226, just type in police trade-in firearms, and you'll find places that are selling SIG certified. They're trade-ins that have gone back to SIG for a full manufacturer refurbishing with a full SIG warranty. And CDNN was selling those for $499. You could get a 9, a 40, or a 357 SIG at one point for between $499 and $550. And then if I was looking around, I can't remember, I think it was Sportsman's Warehouse is selling P226s in 40 SIG trade-in, law enforcement trade-ins for $499. And I'm reading the reviews on them, and you can only take those with a grain of salt, but a bunch of people are saying minor holster wear, barrel looks fantastic, springs are nice and tight. I've seen very little use. So you can get some really good deals.
Most LEO shoots their gun twice a year.
Yeah.
So
unless you're going to get one that's like a training gun, but this, they're saying, just replace the recoil spring to be safe. Barrel shows very little wear. It just needs a good cleanup. So that's another option for people, is to look around at the LEO trade-in market, because you can save $400 or $500. But Foos, you're right. I mean, they might get maybe 50 rounds a year put through them. So yeah, that's always another option. Squib, what about you? What are some of your recommendations for full size handguns? What do you like? And I know you're kind of a milsurp dude, but what do you recommend? What's out there? What would be some of the semi-autos that you'd recommend? We'll get to revolvers here in a little bit.
1911.
Okay. So I had a chat with somebody on one of my Caliber corners a while ago here. What's that?
Get a Luger.
Get a Luger pistol. Somebody had said to me that they were saying, is the 1911 really the perfect all-around gun when somebody might have trouble, say, with disassembly or manipulation? It kind of depends on the person. I mean, my grandma can rock an AKV with no problems whatsoever, and she's 80-some years old. I mean, seriously, she did on the 4th of July. And, but I know people that, gals that have trouble with hand strength. And so you're going to say the 1911, but would that be a good first gun for somebody? I would say yes. I love mine. I love my SR 1911. It runs like a champ, and it's not that hard to disassemble once you learn how to do it and disassemble it a couple times. But Squib, you don't think that's a little too advanced for entry level or not?
1911.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'll take
entry level 1911s are going to be loose enough. You should be able to slide, manipulate that slide. Even some weaker folks, you start to get into the higher end 1911s, and they have a lot tighter fit to them. There's some 1911s that I have issues with opening at first.
Really, it's just getting that the recoil, the plug out of the front. If you get yourself a recoil spring plug wrench, some of the 1911s come with them. My Ruger came with one. It makes the disassembly of the 1911 a piece of cake because you have to worry about pushing in the plunger and turning the barrel bushing and trying to not launch something up in the air.
I'm talking about just racking the slide. Some of them are really tight.
Okay.
These are high-end ones, the ones that are perfectly 100% hand fit.
Yeah.
And like I'm talking like GI, some Wilson, some higher end 1911s that some people they want one gun, they want to depending on personalities, if they go that high end, they may or may not be able to even rack the slide because everything's so hand fit.
Hey, Squib, Foos, I got a question for you. This is from Justice La Chicana Ricana. She says, I'm in Chicago. Where would I go to see a competition and perhaps register for one? Thanks, you guys. So Chicago, Foos, do you have any experience in Illinois at all for competition?
I don't, but there are websites out there. Go to uspsa.org, and there is find clubs. And then you type in your zip code, and it will show you clubs and how far it is from that zip code. There is phone numbers. There's email addresses. A lot of times they'll say when they normally shoot, like if it's third Saturday or whatever.
Okay. Then
there's your contact information.
Okay.
I would say practice score as well. PRTAISCORE.com, but you could also put in your zip code, stuff like that. But that will show you that'll show you steel. That will show you long range stuff. That'll show you a lot more different, styles of shooting. So that's a possibility as well.
Yeah, Nebraska Gun Freak. Go ahead.
Those are ones that are only registered, though. If you want to look for just USPSA, USPSA.org.
So another question from Justice Lachicon, and this can come from anybody in the panel here. The person says, I actually am looking for a second gun. My hand is slender. I have long fingers. Any suggestions? I'm also 5'3" and right-handed. If you want to go full size, my G17, my wife is able to shoot that, and her hands are fairly small, and she can shoot it comfortably. My hands are bigger. I shoot it comfortably. So you should be able to use an M&P with no issues at all. Yeah.
The size of the person, like her being, or the individual being 5'3", doesn't matter. I've seen like 8 and 9 year old females that maybe weigh 50, 60 pounds.
Okay.
Shooting 40, 45 all day long and being perfectly fine. That's not an issue. Smaller hands with longer fingers. Longer fingers is what's going to get you, because if you have something that fits your hands, it won't fit your finger. If you have something that fits your finger, you'll have to change the grips. Whenever I say grips, the side grips. I would go look at a metal gun that you can change the side profile of your grips, not just front to back. Because usually front to back, most people are fine, but the side profile, a lot of your polymer guns don't have that adjustability.
Yeah. So, and again, it really does come down to, it's hard to make recommendations because you might find something comfortable and I may not, and vice versa. So that's kind of a problem that you can run into.
Well, not to sound like a broken record, but look at the HKs, because they have three different sizes of side grips and back panels. Mm-hmm. If you can't make those fit, I don't know what else is going to fit.
Look at Walthers as well. They have wraparound individual grip modules that is the back and side of the grip.
Oh, cool. A few other recommendations to look into. I know they're fairly inexpensive. The IWI Masada is another one that's a good one to look into. I've got an SD9 VE, which is basically, I'd consider that more of a compact model, although it has a fairly lengthy barrel on it. It's almost G17 size, made by Smith & Wesson. Now, the other thing, too, about the APX Defense Dad, you can get different frames. right? So you could swap if you want to go down to a smaller frame and get different magazines. You can do that too, right? You can go from the Centurion size down to a compact.
Yep, and it does have the small, medium, and large backstrap that come with it as well.
Oh, cool! And you get different colors too, so you can really. And that's, I mean, from again, my recommendation just straight off the board, the Bright APX. I mean, if people think they're kind of ugly looking, you get used to the looks after a while. But when you actually handle one, take it apart, you realize just for the money, you're getting a great value. If you're just going to buy one gun, right? That's a nice all around. You might holsters. There's plenty of them out there. You might have to look around. You might not get one at the store that you're at, but if you do look around, you can find holsters for them too. So that's not really an issue. I don't have a lot of experience with H&K, so I can't really comment a lot on that. So I don't know. Yeah, but when you're looking around, again, lots and lots of options. So let's just take a look and see what's actually out there. This is one of my favorite things to do, and I'm not promoting this website, but it is a good place to kind of start if you're trying to find something here. Let's get a screen share going. This might cause my camera to not come back, just to let everybody know. You might be stuck on my icon for a little while. So semi-auto pistols, real quick.
You're saying that like it's a bad thing?
What's that?
You're saying that like it's a bad thing?
It is, because you don't get to see my pretty face and my nice smooth skin. So, all right. I shave, by the way. So just looking off the top, when you start searching for prices, I went low to high, 4-inch barrel models over on Gunbroker. And the G3 is one of the lowest, price ones. $289 is what you're looking at there. You start to run into some of the T-Sauce models too, and the Heersans, which are Turkish made pistols. But here's like the MC28 SA, $299. There's a ton of options out there. The old Taurus PT22 is popping up. That's probably going to be used. SAR arms, and a lot of the SAR guns are basically clones of CZs, and some of them are original models. We got a Heersan MC21. Are you guys able to see this, by the way?
Yes.
You can see this okay? I would, honestly, I've always been curious about these. I wanted to buy one in 45, but I've seen nothing but, I don't know, the Remington Rp9 for a while there. They were like $279. Here's one for $329. I can't recommend it. For one thing, warranty work could be an issue with Remington, kind of up in the air right now. And also, they just don't seem to function well. They seem to have lots of issues. And I don't know if they require a heavier weight grain of bullet to function properly, because they were, a duty design gun, like a law enforcement kind of basis frame. Here's another SAR arms, which is very similar to an EAA Witness, $329. Yeah, I think this is pretty cool. Here's another
EAA Witness is a clone of a CZ. CZs are the most cloned firearm out there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I believe it. More options. What's that?
Cloned, not duplicated.
Yes.
Duplicated is 1911. But a thing with the 1911, if something breaks, you're going to be able to go to any gunsmith and be able to get it fixed, because who doesn't know how to fix 1911 in the firearm industry?
Here's the other thing to consider too. A lot of these guns you're looking at, you might not be able to find extra mags for them. So do consider that. If you don't care about that, it's not a big deal. But do look and see that if there's any, mags, because on some of those Heersans and T-Sauce Regent guns, or even SAR models, can you even get spare mags for it? If you do find them, are they $50, $60? Are you paying like a kind of a premium because they're not just readily available, or they're not made by another manufacturer like Metgar? If you want a good one to practice with, my wife's got one of these. We got the Taurus Tx22. I think we paid $249. This is $349, which I believe is full retail price. So if you look around, you can get TX22s for $249. And there's a lot of 22 LRs that are out there. And again, you start to run into the SD9 VEs. These are great, but be prepared to replace the recoil spring. They've got a very, and guide rods, they've got a very flimsy guide rod and recoil spring with them. I replaced mine with the stainless model from NDZ Performance for like $15. And I've had no problems with it. And I put hundreds and hundreds of rounds through my gun since then. I'm not going to say thousands. I test a lot of guns, so I don't have a chance to shoot all my guns all the time. But I've never had any problems with it. A lot of people say, it can break the frame pedals that it rests on. And I've never had an issue. I'm using the exact same spring weight. And you'll know when you get an SD9 VE, if you take it to the range and it has trouble going into battery, or you're shooting it in really hot weather, the guide rods get really flexible and they don't keep the rigidity, and the gun has trouble functioning. Even slow chambering and stuff like that, slow cycling, it's pretty sad Smith & Wesson hasn't changed that design yet. Then you start to run into some Springfield armories. Some of these are going to be new. Some of them are going to be used. And then Security 9. Okay, so they do have Security 9. It must have a 4-inch barrel. It is. Okay, so Security 9s are very comfortable. They're almost like a Glock 19 size pistol with a little bit longer barrel. Very comfortable in the hand. That's another one that I could recommend. And again, you get your SE series and a bunch of different, you get those in a 40 also, by the way. They're usually about the same price. different finishes and colors. These are nice all-around guns. One other thing about the SD9s, I've had two, and both of them have had an issue where if your grip puts any kind of downward pressure on the magazine, like on the base plate, it does cause the slide to not lock open on empty, and that can be a problem. Another good one that I'd recommend, the Stoker Str9. These are a great deal. They're basically just like a Glock 19 clone, and they sell different versions of them with or without an optics cut. They were supposed to start at $299 with one mag. This person's going for $399, but I know Shields would get these in for $299 or $279 with one mag, and then you can buy them with two mags and extra back straps for like $50 or $75 more. Here's a please trade in. A couple good deals right here. $399. So you got some M&P 40s. 15-round mags. You might want to just maybe swap out, say, the recoil spring and the guide rod for a new one, and then you're good to go. So, I mean, there's really no lack of models out there. And then you start to run into Mechanics, TP9, TP9 SFs and stuff like that. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is there anything we're missing? Oh, you got the Hirsan Regard, which is a clone. What do you call it, Foos? A clone or a copy? What do we say about this? It's a clone of the M92 Beretta.
Now, is this the French one?
No, these are made by Turk. These are Turkish. The Hirsans are made by Turk.
Oh, okay.
All right. I think Clovertac tested these on his channel.
So my definition of clone versus copy.
Yeah.
Copy is if it uses the same parts, same magazine, same, like 90% of the guts are the same, swappable. Mm-hmm. It's a clone if the style is copied, but yet the internal stuff doesn't fit. The magazines are different. You take a copy of the design and modify it, tweak it for your own usage.
Well, but then you get weird ones like the Taurus PT92 that was built off the original Beretta tooling and machining and parts, but it was its own adapted local market gun with the frame mounted safety instead of a slide mounted safety. So they're kind of a weird in between.
Then that's a clone. Okay.
And the PT92 is another one that I recommend. I had one for a very long time. I did eventually just trade it, but if you want a good Beretta 92 clone and it's going to have the frame mounted safety instead of a slide mounted safety, check out the PT92 FS by Taurus. They come in like a fancy polished like nickel stainless finish, or you can just go with just your basic black. That's another good one.
Yeah, with the frame mounted versus slide mounted.
Yeah.
Depending on how you grab your gun, slide mounted safeties suck because you have something hanging off the side of your gun, right where your fingers are, that moves back and forth at a very high rate of speed.
Okay.
I love my Milsurp guns, but I hate some of my Milsurp guns because they have slide mounted or frame mounted or slide mounted
safeties. Yeah.
And I shoot a magazine through it and I'm done because I'm going to have bruises on the side of my thumbs or already cut or whatever.
Okay. Hey, also joining us, guys, we got a little single shot going on. Single shot, what's new in your world, man? How's it going? You're busy driving this morning.
Good morning, y'all. How y'all doing this morning?
We're doing good. We're having a very intense discussion on full-size pistols, semi-automatic pistols. Can you throw some recommendations out there to us? Some that you've enjoyed shooting over the years?
Oh, number one, first and foremost, the infamous 1911A1.
Ooh, all right. You and Squibber are in the same club.
Yes, sir.
All right, cool.
What's this gun you speak of? I've never heard of it.
But there are those out there. There are those out there who shoot the 1911, and then there's everybody else.
Ooh, ouch! That's fight words.
Hey,
you can take your little small gun and just do whatever you want with it.
Well, you can get 1911s chambered in 9.
What about? Hold on. What about the great grandson of a 1911?
What's the great grandson of the 1911?
Well, actually, great grandson, because it goes from 1911. Off that, you have Browning High Power. Mm-hmm. Off that, you have the CZ.
There's nothing wrong with CZs, but there's some people who'll never shut up about them. They're kind of like Glock fanboys.
It's because they realize they got something good and they want the world to know. Yes.
Yeah, I shot Smeggy CZ, and I said, I've got to have one of these things. Of course, then I saw the price, and that kind of, put
I don't got to have one of these things.
No, and it's like, I got to have one of these things, but I don't have to have one of these things right now. I got to tell you, everything I pointed it at, it hit. I love guns like that. There are certain guns that I have owned that everything I point at, and you might say it's not the gun, it's you. This is the right balance. The sights are right for you. I've noticed certain sights I do a lot better on than with other ones. And that's CZ75 Shadow or Tactical, whatever. That was nice. It felt right. It was the right weight, had the right recoil. The grips were the right size. The sights were, this thing was, but I've shot other guns that are like that. I used to have a Para-Ordnance PT-111, or I'm not PT, Para-Ordnance P4514 Limited. Same thing. Tack driver.
I got one.
Pointed it at. The Ruger, the Ruger Super Red Hawk in 44 Magnum with an 8-inch barrel. Everything I pointed at, it hit. Colt Diamondback, everything I pointed at hit. Browning High Power, everything I pointed. So there's certain guns. I think it's for each person. You might pick up every one of those guns I just listed and say these are too heavy. They kick too hard. I can't see the sights. Why would you own one of these things? I think that it's different for different people.
Absolutely. The whole exactly what you said is you grab a gun and it just it feels right. It fits you. That is awesome. That does not mean that you can't train yourself to another gun. If you shoot a lot, the gun does not matter. It's the training to the firearm, training on that firearm. For me, I don't, Glocks feel weird because I've been shooting a 1911 grip angle forever. Does that mean I can't shoot a Glock? Not at all. I can shoot a Glock fairly well. I just have to
adjust.
Remember, I have a Glock. And,
yeah.
I got to change my grip angle. But after about 30 minutes of dry fire, that's all fixed. That's all subconscious. So you train yourself to whatever firearm you have, as long as the firearm is reliable and goes bang and puts rounds where the sights are pointed at. It doesn't matter who you are, train yourself to the firearm. And whenever I say that, it's like some people are like, oh, for me, this gun always hits low left, low right, wherever. Well, okay. Is that you or is that the gun?
But it's nice when you pick up a gun and everything just feels right. Like the Desert Eagle. I love the Desert Eagle. A lot of people do not like that. And the only reason I don't have one is because of the price. But that's another one. Everything I pointed at, it hits. I don't have to think. It just does it. And somebody else might get it and go, how can you shoot this thing? It's. Oh,
I had one in 44 mag that Stan loaned to me, and I took it out. That thing was so much fun to shoot. It was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
They're great. They're thick. It's a thick grip. That's the one thing somebody might not be used to is how wide, lengthwise, front to back width of the grip is. Because you've got such large magazines and you're shooting fairly lengthy rounds at some point too. But man, they're fun. They're so much fun.
Now, what something that's awesome is a Freedom, I think it's Freedom Arms 50 AE 5-shot revolver.
Yep.
I want to transition into revolvers now. Can we go there? Because I want you guys to throw out some solid recommendations for revolvers that would have at least a 4-inch barrel, if not longer.
Okay.
Do it. Revolver options. What do you guys recommend? And again, brands. Should a person stick with the classics, say Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Colt is it because there's other brands like there's Rock Island's got some revolvers out there. Charter Arms has got revolvers out there.
Freedom Arms.
Taurus.
Freedom Arms. Go with 500 line ball, and that's it.
Well, let's maybe stick. You can recommend, calibers. I was just thinking maybe more like a 357 Magnum or a 38 Special for somebody that wants,
Yep.
That was a joke. Don't.
Oh, okay. Because people will make comments say, "How could you recommend a 500 line ball? My grandmother's wrist would shatter if she fired that thing." I mean, people take everything we say.
Ammo costs.
People take everything we say very seriously on this podcast. You'd be surprised the fallout that I get from every episode where people come rolling on us. Yeah.
500 line ball is a basically, if you want to compare it to another round, 500 Smith & Wesson on steroids.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not going to recommend that as an entry-level revolver for somebody who's never shot one before.
No.
So single shot. Why don't you throw some models out there? What are some good revolver options? And I guess we're not really going to worry so much about price because a good revolver could cost you $600, $700, $800. But what would you say?
Well, I've always been a Ruger fan. I've got a couple of Smiths. I'm not going to rule them out.
Okay.
But the Ruger Super Blackhawk, I've got one with a 10.5-inch barrel, 44 Magnum that I've shot 6 deer with. And I also, when I started out in the revolver scene, the very first one I had was a Ruger Blackhawk 357 Magnum.
Okay.
And I like that with both, the 38s and the 357s in it. It had its, its negatives, but I always had good luck with that revolver. The other one that I've got that's on the pricey side is a Dan Wesson. I bought that years ago as a hunter pack, if anybody's familiar with that. It's the revolver frame, and it comes with several different barrel lengths that you can change the barrel length on it. That's a nice revolver. But I've always stuck with Ruger, I guess. Mostly because of the way that they're built. I've got a GP100 that I'm partial to.
SP101, GP100.
SP101, yep. I've got one of them in 327 Federal. That's my EDC.
I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
So the ones that, like a 44 Special versus 44 Magnum, 350 or 357 Magnum versus a 38 Special.
Mm-hmm.
Same size frames and everything. Would you guys always go to and grab the Magnum gun so you can shoot different rounds through it?
Yeah, I would. I was going to say, if you're going to do anything, if you're going to get your first revolver, I would recommend a 357 Magnum, just because you can get the 38 Special non-plus P rounds, and they're very light and they're very easy to shoot. It's going to be a different recoil impulse than the 357 Magnum. But I would just say, and see, the thing is, sometimes there's not a lot of price difference between a 38 Special plus P rated model and the 357 Magnum version of that same model, because sometimes you get that from certain manufacturers.
Now, on the 357 Magnum will be more because of having to have the cylinder support that pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Because the cylinder will most likely be made out of a different metal. It will be heavier. I have an LCR in 357, and a buddy of mine has an LCR in 38 plus P, and mine is heavier. So
now I've got a video. I'm going to have a video coming out. You guys watch my channel. I've got a Taurus ultralight that's in the same shape as the Tracker series.
Mm-hmm.
And it's titanium and the regular steel. It's chambered in 44 Magnum. But that also shoots 44 Specials. That's got a 4-inch barrel. I'm going to do a series of videos on that with both the 44 Magnum and the Special cartridge. I'll be using a Keith type semi-wad cutter 225 grainer and a 240 grainer out of both out of that same revolver.
Okay.
Picked it up reasonably, and it's got a pretty fair trigger pull on it. It's not bad.
Yeah.
Sometimes some of these bigger firearms, you could actually get them for a pretty decent price, like revolvers, because they don't move.
Right. People don't like the recoil. They don't know about the series special, quote unquote. You're a 44 Special, 38 Special, etc. And they'll fire probably half a dozen or so rounds out of it and took you back to the store. Oh, this is too much for me, Well,
they might not find that ammo at the store too. They might not realize it's a computer, and they might you might have to do some research online and order the ammo online, because your local mom and pop might not carry 44 Special. You might have to, especially for somebody who's not a reloader. You can't say, well, that's why I reload. Well, that doesn't help your average gun buyer.
No.
But that is nice to have the option, though, especially like with the 357 mag. I would hope the person selling them that firearm says, look, you can also shoot 38 Special or 38 Special plus P in it also.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of
The thing
browsing.
I like about this 327 Federal is not only you got the option of shooting 327 Federal mag, you got 32 H&R mag, and you've also got 32 long Colts you could fire out of this.
Okay. Well, so you got a lot of options then when you go that route, because a lot of people might not realize you can even go that route. Plus, you've got different options for, you can kind of work yourself up to the full size caliber so you're comfortable with what might be, say, your carry ammo, but you don't necessarily have to, you know.
That's the thing about a lot of revolvers with a rimmed round. They headspace off that rim and not the length of your cartridge. So as long as your rim is good and your diameter is good of your projectile in your case, a lot of times in revolvers, that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
And
yeah,
I would
friend,
go ahead.
There's a quote that I found very interesting that Colonel Townsend Whalen made many years ago. And this is his opinion. He always said that only accurate firearms are interesting to him.
Yeah.
And that states a lot right there if you're talking about the whole gambit of selections that we have. If you put one in your hand, you shoot well with it. You put another one in your hand, you don't shoot well with it. Well, you're going to fall back on, most of the time, you're going to fall back on the one that's most accurate for you.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's definitely a lot of options out there. Let's get a few more suggestions out there, guys. What's that?
That's truth right there.
Yeah.
And that comes back to what I think Squib was saying about picking up a gun and it just feels good to you. That's awesome, but that's not... It could be accurate to them, but you could also take and work and make yourself accurate with any firearm. So let's say in times like this, you may not be able to find a gun that is accurate for you the first magazine. Okay, you can still train yourself to the gun as long as the gun will, in someone else's hands, will shoot true.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's why I usually pass off my pistols to Defense Dad at the range, because he can outshoot me. So I let him give me his take on on the pistols. Like, okay, would you shoot this, please, and make sure it's not just me? You know, let's make sure it's the gun that's shooting low and to the left. Nope, it's dead on. That's what I figured. Yeah. All right. So looking at some options that are out there, unfortunately, we're looking at pandemic prices, and this is sad because some of these are 100, 150 more than what you're looking. When I do a revolver search over on Gunbroker, we're looking at new, buy it now. And I know this is one of the worst places to look because the prices are high, but at least it will throw you it'll throw some models at you and give you an idea what you're looking at. They're showing the Taurus model 65, 357 mags for $499. The EA indicator. Yeah. What's that?
Gunbroker will tell you what the current value is, not what the current price is.
Oh, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
So what's a value of a firearm in the pandemic times? Look on Gunbroker. That will tell you the value. The price is the price. If you get a better price, that's fine. Gunbroker will tell you the value.
Yeah.
Just like auctions, it'll tell you what the value is.
Yeah, okay, that's their opinion of the value. For somebody, I mean, value is a subjective term.
Right. Well, the problem is, though, is if you're trying to sell something used or you're looking at buying something, the person's going to say, well, you want this, but I can go over to Gunbroker and go get it for that. Or you want to sell it, well, this is what it sells for used over there. You know, people use it as arguing points. I've noticed that whenever I've sold used firearms, like, well, you're only $25 under the cost of new. But then you can argue things like, well, there's no tax on it. There's no FFL fee on it. I'm throwing in extra ammunition. I'm throwing in extra mags. But that's part of the problem, though, is that's one of the first places people go is they're going to look up the price online. Well, you want this, but I can get this for it. You know, people set what they think the value is. But when you're looking at these prices on Gunbroker and everything is falling in the $599 price range or the $499 price range, it's kind of hard to argue as a buyer, you know.
Here's my thing. I've never bought or sold on Gunbroker, and I'm really not much on selling guns. But let's say I had to sell one of my handguns, and the guy says, well, I can get it for this much on Gunbroker. Show me. Okay. Oh, that's 4 states over. So you're going to have to ship it. You're going to have to pay a transfer fee, you know. So, I mean, you know, you can go both ways with that.
Oh, definitely.
Oh.
I'm just saying, and I just bring it up just to show selection. I really don't care about prices because we can look around locally and probably get better prices. I know you can on a lot of these guns that are listed on here. For a lot of people, it's a convenience. They got the money and they don't care, so that's why they're using Gunbroker. And I've used Gunbroker in the past to buy new guns, and I've saved a lot of money versus what. And it still went to my local FFL. I still had to do a transfer, but it was still cheaper than what my local FFL could get it for, just because of their supply chain.
Gunbroker is a good resource if you say, there is a gun, I need it now. It is out of stock everywhere. You're going to find it on Gunbroker. If, the price, who cares about the price at that point? If you need a gun, like let's say I have a competition coming up and something catastrophic happens with one of my competition guns. Granted, I'm in Kansas City. I could probably walk into the CZ.
Go to Cabela's.
No. I know several guys who work at CZ, so
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, because you're now in home territory, aren't you?
Yes. Yes. But let's say I shoot HK, and there's no HKs around because it is pandemic, and I just blew up a frame. So I'm down a gun. Well, if you can't get it, Gunbroker is there for I need it now. And
that's true.
In a week, you'll have it.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people have the money and they just simply they don't care. It doesn't matter to them. So, us, we're always all about the value. It's like, what can we get for the lowest dollar? What's the best deal we can possibly get? And
so that's value. Okay, so price, value, and deals are three very different things. There's a price of something, that's the price. There's a value of something, which is what are people willing to pay for it. And then a deal is, oh my God, here's the price, here's the amount people are willing to pay for it, and here is what this dealer is selling it for. Mm-hmm. That's three very, people are like, oh, it's all the same. Very, very, very different definitions to me.
Yeah.
And the thing is, my value versus Single Shot's value versus Squib's versus AWAG's versus Travis's, that value is completely subjective, completely up to you. But Gunbroker is a good value of what the populace thinks it is going. Mm-hmm. It's valued at.
And it might be a good thing for you because you might live in a region where you might have trouble finding a certain particular firearm, or if you can, for some reason, they're just always sold out or they're always going above MSRP, and you might be able to find one online, source it, and go that route. AWAG, why don't you go? Do you have any revolver suggestions at all? I guess we never really do talk revolvers, AWAG. Do you have anything out there that you could recommend?
I'll be honest. In all honesty, I don't necessarily like revolvers that much. There is a small niche of revolvers, very small. I don't even think they exist in the United States as of now. And that is a break action revolver that can handle up to a 357 Magnum. That's a modern gun. Like, it has Picatinny rail attachments, like on the bottom, like almost.
What are you going for? Are you going for tactical trench runs, or what's the?
I mean, I think the idea is cool because your traditional revolvers,
think like a Webley, kind of thing or something. Yeah,
sort of.
Yeah.
There's one that's out there, and I kept on using it when I was playing Battlefield 3 and 4, and it's the Russians make it, oddly enough. It's I think it's called the 512 Rex. And it's got a sort of like a Hogue overmolded rubberized grip, and it's a break action.
This is cool. This thing looks cool.
I love break action revolvers. I love them to death.
All right, let's check this out.
The break actions are absolutely awesome. They're weak.
There you go. That looks pretty cool, though.
The frames on them are weak just because of the design and recoil forces and all that stuff. If you could get them to hold 357 and stay, in tune and everything, that's awesome because your reload will be faster. Well, to a novice, they'll be faster.
This one, it says it's never entered production, though. The MP412X.
Really?
Yeah, no, this is according to Wikipedia. They said, though it was likely due to its largest potential markets, the United States being closed because of an agreement between Clinton and Russian President Boris Yeltsin in the 90s, voluntarily banning the import of firearms from Russia to the United States. Because we know Russian guns cause all of our crimes in the USA, right? It says it's unusual that it has a break-open frame rather than a typical swing-out cylinder. It also features a composite lower frame consisting of steel with a polymer grip. So, they're made by Israelis too. Yeah.
If you want a Russian break-open revolver, just get a Smith and Wesson Model 3. Jeez.
Yep. So, Wag, is the reason you don't really care about the revolvers because Kalashnikov never made one?
No. Kalashnikov concern is not Izvesh. They're their own thing.
No, I said because Kalashnikov. I'm talking about Mikhail Kalashnikov.
He just doesn't like him because they were never officially come off an AK assembly line.
Not quite.
Here's your number 3, AWAG. There you go, buddy. You're all ready to go right there.
I mean, I like them, but at the same time, I'm not a fan of that style grip. That's just kind of like the 90-degree, what I like to call the U shape. I don't know what they're actually called, but like, I just don't like the way they feel. I don't know. I just really like break open revolvers. I had a little 22 that was just like the bee's knees when it was one of my buddies, and that thing was just so quick.
You just be able to fling it down, empty it, drop your shells in, Yep. You can use speed loaders though too with any other modern revolver. You've got that option also. Just ching ching ching, done. Jerry Mikola can do it in like 3 seconds. AWAG, I'm sure you can too. Remember, Jeremy training, AWAG.
No, Jeremy has fired 6 rounds, reloaded 6 rounds in under 2 seconds.
Oh, geez. That is insane.
From a holster.
Oh, that's not real. No, it is. He is superhuman, man. He's superhuman. So, all right, let's see what's going on over on the YouTube side here real quick. See what people are throwing out there for some options. Let's see. Smith & Wesson Thunder Ranch 325 is a good tactical revolver. Let's see. Try to see if there's anybody. MP. Oh, yeah, you guys are talking about the MP412 out there. Yep. So you got lots of different options out there that you can look into, and hopefully we've given you a few different ideas here if you're kind of in the market for the full-size revolver. I love the Ruger GP100. It's one of my favorites. And you might find yourself some nice police trade-in revolvers too. But again, if they've had a lot of wear, you may have to be looking into a little bit of maintenance or have a gunsmith check it out, or maybe get a light overhaul on it so that it runs smooth for you. So that's going to be the situation with any used revolver that you guys might buy. Any advice for buying used revolvers? What do you guys recommend?
Make sure lockup is good.
Mm-hmm.
Pull the trigger to where just before it goes off and see if you can move that cylinder. If you can,
walk away. Yeah. Okay.
Now check your end play, check your side play. General condition. It doesn't matter if it's got fixed sights or adjustable. Just make sure that they're in good condition.
Also,
and you bore.
Open it up and look for gas cutting or anything like that around
on that back strap.
Portion code and back strap as well.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well,
I put a link over in the chat for a video. It's about 30 minutes long, so it's a little bit detailed, but it's a good video if you're wanting to know what to look for buying a used revolver.
Okay.
No.
Cool. There you go. Check it out. Chiappa rhinos are showing up out there. Hey, whatever, man. You do you. All right. Well, guys, I think we're going to go ahead and call it. I'm going to get moving here. I've got some stuff to work on today, so we are going to go ahead and call it an episode today where we just had a lighthearted, fun, general discussion of your full-size firearms, revolvers, semi-automatic pistols, and so on. Thanks to Defense Dad for joining us today. He had to run off to work. And let's go ahead and let the panel put their final plugs in. Give a little shout-out to the people on the YouTube side, and then we'll call it episode 158, I think. Single Shot, we'll start off with you. Anything you want to say before we go?
Well, keep watching for the videos. I'll get them done eventually. I'm headed home now, and I do have some ideas on a few videos that I put out there. But other than that, everybody be safe, stay safe. America moves by truck. So
always. You're moving by truck right now, man. Cool. Thanks for being your shot. Appreciate it, buddy. All right. Foos, any final words before we go?
Yes. Thank you for doing what you do every Saturday morning. It's always good talking with you. Yeah.
Next week's going to be a little controversial. How to best clean your gun. So,
well,
that's gonna. I did a video on those cleaners and stuff, and man, I've gotten lots of great suggestions. There's gun cleaners people are suggesting I've never even heard of before. Oh, this works great. This is awesome. This is
So the best thing to clean a bore of a firearm, another round.
There you go. I thought you were going to say go get the 1 gallon of WD-40 and just drop the whole gun in that Tupperware container of WD-40.
No.
Pull it out, take it off, and just start shooting it again.
The only thing, no. The only thing you put
set the gun on fire, I'd imagine.
the only thing you put down a bore is another round with pistol. You don't, especially if it's a high usage pistol. You really don't want to do a whole bunch unless there's obstructions, leading or whatever. Well, we'll talk about that next week.
Oh yeah. I think we'll have a little discussion on. See, there you go. That's stuff I've never even thought of. So, all right. AWAG, anything you want to say before we go? AWAG, put down the toaster strudel.
Oh, I keep on forgetting to unmute myself.
It's okay, man. So
that's going to be a habit that's going to be hard to break. But thanks for the invite.
Yeah.
As always, go ahead and check out my channel, AWAG1000. Look for the little cat face. That's me. All 3 of them are me. If you're just looking up AWAG1000, but the one with the cat face and the most subscribers is me. My main one. I have a video of a recent camping trip that I went on. We played around with some night vision and shot some guns and had a grand old time. So you can see my shenanigans there. So,
all right, man. And again, welcome to freedom, AWAG. Welcome to freedom.
Yep. All I gotta do now.
Once you pass that meridian, you're free. So yeah.
All I gotta do now is get a job down here. So
there you go.
Like spending all of my time on the computer putting in applications.
Good. We'll find something and get something and see what you can do. So yeah. Did you say you're North Carolina, South Carolina? Where are you at?
South Carolina. I'm about an hour from Night Strike's undisclosed location.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Hey, at some point we need a range tour.
Sure.
Do it, man. Get it cleaned up and then give us a range tour. All right. Sweet, man. Do a tabletop review of his range.
All right.
Here's the tabletop we shoot the guns from on the range. Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be more gear and gun review stuff coming along because now that I have more space in my apartment, I can actually have a section dedicated that's all nice and cleaned up instead of having my cramped, tiny room in New Jersey that's full of, 5 pounds of junk in a 2-pound box,
Sounds good, man. Yeah, no, moving's always a lot of fun, isn't it? Oh, God. All right. And what's that? Yeah.
Moving.
Fusi moved more lead. Yeah.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
Oh.
I'll show you. No,
you gonna show us the
Continue. All
right. Well, let Squib. Why don't you go ahead and finish up, Squib, and go ahead and give us your final plugs here before we call it.
So I stepped away a couple times during the show to go ahead and shoot the rest of my coffee review this morning. It wasn't anything spectacular, but I did throw a tasty cake in there. And while I was doing the coffee review, what's that?
Oh, I said, good for you. Tasty cakes are fantastic.
Yeah, it might save the video. While I was doing a coffee review, it made me think of an older review I did. So I went looking in my playlist. I couldn't find it. Well, I have it listed as an unboxing video. So I'm going to include that as a link at the end of the video. So if you want to see some older stuff, and it got me thinking about a comment that was in the live chat early in the show. And that is that because of the ammo shortage, there haven't been a lot of gun videos lately. I beg to differ. It's not that there haven't been a lot of gun videos lately. It's that you're only looking for the newest videos. If you go to a channel that you like, maybe you've only subscribed to them in the past 6 months or past 2 years, go back and look at something they did 4 years ago, 10 years ago. It depends on how long the channel's been around. Just because the video is older doesn't mean it's not relevant. Doesn't mean you might not learn something or be entertained or learn a little bit more about the channel. I can't stand it when somebody makes one comment about my channel, about what I do on my channel, when they've only watched 30 seconds of one video. It's like, go back and watch some older stuff, some more recent stuff. Then, give me, I don't care if you criticize me, but if you do it from ignorance, it's. So there's lots of videos out there. They're older videos, but those guns are still out there. They may not even be current production, but you can still find them at a gun show, or it may be something, it could be one of your cleaning videos. It could be so much stuff. So if people aren't making enough new videos right now that you're out there looking for, do these YouTube channels a favor. They love it. We love it when people go back and look at our older stuff, and you can see a progress in the quality of the video or in the change of maybe, somebody's opinion on something. I'm not saying you have to watch all 355 videos, but it's really interesting to go back and look at the older stuff. When somebody subscribes to my channel and I want to go and see what their channel is about, I look at some of their older videos, some of their newer videos, and some in the middle before I decide whether or not I want to pursue this and maybe subscribe to their channel. So that's just an option for people out there that are jonesing for newer firearms videos.
Now, real quick, I just want to toot my own horn, and then we'll go over to Foos. If you go to my channel, I've got over 1,000 videos. If you take out the Caliber Corner episodes, I still have about 850 original videos that weren't just me talking for 30 seconds and that's it. I mean, actual, so a lot of us content creators have made videos that, 4 or 5 years ago, I did a cleaning video, or I did some sort of a review or a range test. So really get in and check the channels. Just search on our channel for whatever you're looking for, and you might be surprised because there's a lot of good videos. It's so funny. People leave comments on my videos like, well, I know this is an older video, and it was like a 2019, like a March or April 2019 video. It's like, it's not even a year old, man. What the hell are you talking about? Oh, it's an older video. But I mean, it's like, it's in 4K. What, But anyway, just gotta brag a little bit. Check out our channels, because we got a lot of content that's out there. I'm like, man, just get into the playlists and stuff, and you'll be amazed. Real quick here, Foos, are you moving into is that AWAG's spot? Are you letting AWAG move in the corner? Is that
sure?
Is that AWAG's little purple Pullman case right there?
Yeah.
I just don't want him to start saying something like it puts the lotion on its skin or something. Where are you? Are you down in the dungeon?
A little Pomeranian running around in the basement,
It's down in my basement. So I got this down here.
Yeah.
It's a 60.
You're probably done lifting heavy things, aren't you? After moving, Foos, are you going to take a couple months off of life?
It's a 60 gunner.
Yeah, that works good.
Yeah.
I actually did a review on one of those, by the way. My dad has one.
So all those are empty. Well, the bag's full of magazines.
Oh, geez.
So I got this down here.
Yeah.
In a basement. Here is just shelving of stuff. Some more ammo, crap like that. Here's my reloading bench. So I got all that. There's all that amp. There's 4. There's 4 50 cal and then 5 higher, taller than 50 cal ammo cans full.
What's the computer screen?
That's his reloading machine.
That's my automated press.
Ah, okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's on a motor. But here is 8 of these are 7.6. 5 of them are fit by 54. Like all that is full. The top 3 boxes here isn't ammo, but the rest of it is. So this was a bitch to move.
Yeah, that is the thing I've noticed is whenever you have to move around all of your stuff, you're there questioning why. But then once you get it there, you're glad you've got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is the safe that I moved out from. This is completely empty. So I went from this.
Dun dun dun. Hey, you're washing your clothes now too. That's good, Foos. Not your
yes.
cohabitating. You gotta get tied.
Yeah, and people are like, "Why are you washing your clothes and drying it in your gun room?"
Why not?
It's still 39% humidity.
Yeah, you've got an exhaust valve for the dryer. You're not going to notice it's only when you're in a little cramped room that you notice the moisture coming off the washer and dryer. There's so much space down there. Yeah.
Honestly, the only downside to that is if you're shooting a video at your reload bench you forget to turn off the washer or dryer, that background noise, that's all the mic picks up.
Well,
it happens to me all the time.
As you see, it's on pause right now because but
isn't it interesting how we all have the same dilemmas?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Or the dog walks up and starts eating as soon as you start filming your video. Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, Jesus, you could do that all day, and you got to do it in my 5 minutes I need to myself.
So, also, that one is pretty much empty. It's all, like, the cases and stuff like this. I mean, I know that one's full, but most of them are – that's that one. But the rest of them are full mags.
I want to see like an extreme house makeover, like Property Brothers show up. Okay, so we're going to put the lead over on this side, and we're going to have a revolving ottoman on this side for all those primers. You know, gun room makeover. That's a new series we need to have right there. That'd be awesome. Gun room makeover. Yeah.
So that's 3 or 4 5-gallon buckets full of loaded magazines.
Jeez. We're going to knock out that wall and go open floor plan. We're going to put the shooting range on that side.
Oh. Well, and then this box is full of empty HK mags that I need to fill up.
Dude, you could have like a swap meet in your basement, dude. Seriously.
Oh, just wait. So you know how I told you in February or in November where I'm going to start dry firing?
Yeah. Oh wow!
This is my dry fire area.
Dude, you got your own little run through area, man. That is sweet. Oh. Mm-hmm. With an exit right there. With an exit right there.
This is going to be my dry fire dojo. I'm going to put rubber mats on the floor so I don't destroy this.
Go do like barrel rolls out behind the minibar.
But getting all this crap down here. Yeah.
The shoot house, literally.
Yeah.
What?
It's the map from Call of Duty.
The shoot house.
The shoot
literally.
House.
Well, the thing is my girlfriend still has probably 1,600 to 1,700 pounds of brass in her garage that I need to get over here.
It's your brass in her garage?
Yes.
You're using her for storage?
Yes.
Yeah, well, with the house laid out like that, she's not going to move in with you, I'll tell you that.
She won't go in the
basement. This is the basement.
This was in the
that's the whole basement? Wow. Okay.
Oh yeah,
I thought you were transitioning. Okay. All right.
No.
From one side of the house to the other.
This isn't the prenuptial agreement. He gets that corner of the laundry room to put his stuff in, and she can't say anything about it.
And then here's my office for work.
Nice. Yeah, I got to have your treadmill. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, here's upstairs.
Get a full house tour.
Okay. All right. I thought he was on the main floor. All right.
Yeah, we're just doing the whole house tour today, man.
I thought the basement was more like the mudroom or something.
Here's where the magic happens.
No.
Wow, Travis. Wow.
Hey, man, if he's giving us the full tour, I'm just saying. There's the kitchen. No, what's in the fridge? Dude, make your beds. For God's sakes, Boos. I know you're busy. Oh, I guess you just rolled out of bed. Never mind. You got out. You just
you do kind of start early.
Right there. There's like 2 packs of lunch meat and sauces. That is straight up like bachelor fridge right there.
Oh yeah.
Couple half empty containers to take out. Dude, you just moved in. I got to give you a hard time, bro. There you go. There's some freedom right there. Got some freedom. See, guys, aren't you glad you stuck around for the podcast? This is the part of the show that nobody ever talks about. This is the after show during my show. This is fantastic. Look at that. Oh, my God. Wow. Nice.
And I have a Sega that works.
Good for you. Got that Sega Genesis. You should bust out some Sonic, play some Phantasy Star 3. Man. Oh, Operation Wolf. That right there, that one took half of my allowance as a child. Easily. That's the one that had the Uzis on it when you played in the arcade. Excite Bike. Yeah, you nothing but jumps in Excite Bike. Yep. Yo, what's up?
Hey, how do you swap the camera around facing outward with this?
Squib, you want to chime in on that? You talked Foos through it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I stepped away.
How to rotate a camera when you're using this app?
Oh,
So
down
there's
at the
3 dots
bottom,
on the bottom right.
if you touch the screen at the bottom, there'll be a screen that'll pop up and it'll say more options. Click on more options, and then it'll say toggle camera. When you toggle camera, it'll switch to the other one. Also, Foos, Gunsnob is saying that you should turn your camera on its side for landscape. Quit being a Neanderthal. So.
Hey guys, I hate to cut it short, but I got to get going. I do apologize. I've got some firearms that need to be cleaned for some family members, so I am going to be heading out. So we're going to go ahead and call it. So we'll do a part 2, the Foos is Loose house tour next week after we get done with our gun chat.
I need to get this cleaned up so I can get all the brass in here. This is my garage.
Who needs a garage for a car, right? I mean,
No. my truck won't fit in this even if it was completely empty.
I understand. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and call. Let's see what's over on the YouTube side. Let's see who's over on the Facebook or the YouTube side right now. We got Misha N over there, little G23 going on. Ghost Tactical in the house. He says we don't shower, much less do laundry in Arkansas. Yeah, your boy Foos.
I'm not in Arkansas anymore.
He's not Arkansas anymore. He's gone country. He's not in Kansas anymore. He's in Missouri. Gun Snob's out there. Ozzy Osbourne's out there today. DM Foz in the house. Let's see here. Let's see. Malachi Foster. Wow, 1 dislike and 27 likes. Oh no, Malachi, I get one person that will thumbs down every single video that I make. I can give stuff away. I can donate to charity. I get a consistent thumbs down. I've got a person that has some issues that they need to speak to. The funny part about that is I actually benefit as a content creator and actually make more money off my videos when I get thumbs downs. I hate to say it to you, but it's true. So, hey, appreciate it. John Lowell says, use the dishwasher. To Who You Bar and Grills in the house. New York Outcast, Fine Ape 1393. Kingpin's out there today. Acceleration Rules. Nighthawk Medic is out there. Justin Grimm joining in. Jerusafer's out there. Say what?
Dishwasher's full. It's clean. I just need to take care of it.
No, it's just that. Just use the dishwasher. That's the key. That's the key. No, that's typical. That's typical. Like you pull it out and grab a glass out of it, and then you shut it, and then your wife puts stuff in it, and she doesn't realize it's clean. That's going to happen to you. Jason Stewart's out there. A lot of the usual suspects. Squibbled's out there and over here. Hopefully, I didn't miss anybody. Scott P79. And that's about it. I'm seeing a lot of conversation out there, a lot of discussion on guns today. Hopefully, we gave you some really good ideas. So this has been Caliber Corner episode number 158, where we talked about full-size handguns, revolvers, and how to move into a new house and where to put stuff. I mean, I think that's important. So anyway, thanks for joining in today, guys. I want you to have fun. I want you to be safe. Y'all take care. Have a good one. And as you know, we will talk to you soon. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye, Alicia. Bye, Alicia.
Adios, Felicia.
Talk with you later, and thanks for the invite, Travis.
Hey, no problem, man. Thanks a lot.